Today's topic of discussion will be Ibn Al-Walid. He was a true slave of Al-Aziz. He would rather be on the battlefield than at home with his wife asleep. Today we'll be discussing Khalid Ibn Al-Walid Ibn Al-Mughira.
ريض يا الطارش يلم عنا خط بكتابك بترحيبك لو سرابك ليلك وجنة بالدجا في الليل تسريبك.
Khalid ibn al-Walid was born into the Banu Makhzum clan of the Quraysh tribe. His father, Al-Walid ibn al-Mughira, was the chief of the Banu Makhzum clan. When Islam had begun to rise inside Mecca, Khalid ibn al-Walid was the military commander of the Quraysh's army. Although Khalid ibn al-Walid was anti-Islam, he had never thoroughly persecuted the Muslims as other people had done. Although Khalid ibn al-Walid did not participate in the Battle of Badr himself, his father and his brother had participated. Khalid ibn al-Walid had forced his brother Al-Walid to participate inside the battle as well. Now, his father had been killed by the Muslims and his brother had been taken captive by the Muslims' army. When Khalid ibn al-Walid ransomed his brother, he immediately accepted Islam. After being convinced by Abu Sufyan to lead the Kuffar army, Khalid ibn al-Walid participated inside the battle of Uhud and he led the Kuffars to victory. Khalid ibn al-Walid accepted Islam after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah in the 7th year of Hijrah. He was on his way to Medina to accept Islam when he met Amr ibn al-As, who was coming from Ethiopia. They were both childhood friends and were both sons of nobles of the Quraysh. Both of them went to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and each of them accepted Islam. During the Battle of Mata, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ appointed 3 commanders in succession. That means if one died, the other had to take the command. Now each one of them were martyred in this battle, and Khalid ibn al-Walid was forced by Shara to take command of the army and fight against the Kuffars. Khalid ibn al-Walid says, 9 swords of mine were broken on that day, and a Yemenite sword was the only thing remaining in my hand. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave him the title of Safullah, that means the sword of Allah. During the conquest of Mecca, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ gave him the authority over one of the battalions of the Muslims. His battalion was the only one which came under attack by Suhail bin Amr, by Ikramah ibn Abi Jahl and Safwan bin Marwan. None of the kuffar were killed, however, a few Muslims were killed. After the Prophet Muhammad's death, Khalid ibn al-Walid was made the commander of the armies against the false prophets. During these so-called apostate wars, he fought against Malik ibn Nuwara, Sajjaha, Tulayha, Musalma, and he defeated all of them. After Al-Muthanna ibn Haris asked Abu Bakr to send some reinforcements to Persia, he sent Khalid ibn al-Walid with an army. Khalid ibn al-Walid's conquest into Persia led him up until Hira, and it is said that whoever controls Hira controls the rest of Iraq. So he conquered it till Hira, and the rest of Persia was conquered by the other Muslim generals. Khalid ibn al-Walid was called back by Abu Bakr and he was told, go to Syria and fight over there against the Byzantine Empire. He met with other Muslim generals such as Shurahbil and Amr ibn al-As and he fought with them and he conquered Damascus. Following his victory at Yarmouk, Umar replaced Khalid ibn al-Walid by Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah because Khalid was becoming very popular and the Muslims were starting to believe that the victory came because of Khalid, not because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So immediately after he was replaced as commander, he was also removed from the army. He called this year the year of the women. Khalid ibn al-Walid spent the rest of his days in Damascus. Here he learned the Quran and he said, I am happy that I was removed since I was able to learn the Quran before I was hindered by the jihad. While on his deathbed, Khalid ibn al-Walid was talking to an old friend. He said, do you see any space on my legs and my arms, the space of a hand, which is not covered by some scar? He said, no. So Khalid ibn al-Walid said, here I am dying like an old camel on my deathbed, while I have fought in hundreds of battles seeking martyrdom. His friend said, you cannot die in battle. Khalid ibn al-Walid said, why? He said, because you are Safullah. How would it be that the sword of Allah is broken by a hand of a kafir? Khalid ibn al-Walid passed away, and with that brought an end to a great epoch of Muslim history. And with that, my dear brothers and sisters, we're bringing an end to the episode. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.